Yes, sir. A new week, a new birth, a new big week. Masters, the national championship game tonight. We got Geno Smith first. We get him first, which I'm excited about, thanks to the Raiders. So we got a big day today. This is what every Monday should feel like, man. Everybody should have a good Monday. Hope everyone's doing well and had a good weekend. Okay, yes. Baseball, April. Gorgeous day. Bobby's birthday today. Bobby birthday music today. Birthdays on a Monday are okay. You know, can kind of
this one is going to be just fine.
Yeah. You got a game tonight or no? No.
Roommate's making up some salmon and some rice pilaf. We're going to bottle of vodka, and we're going to watch Godzilla movies.
All right. Bobby's going to watch Godzilla movies today.
Well, she's never seen Godzilla, so...
Yeah.
Well, yes. You're an American citizen. You've never seen a Godzilla movie? Come on.
Yeah, that's very important.
I think so. Got to have priorities.
All right. Let's have a great Monday. So here's the deal. I already interviewed Gino. So I had Gino first. They gave him to me around 11 a.m. I got in here. We knocked out Gino. It was really good. I'm going to play that at 1 o'clock. That's called the tease in radio. Not many people know how to tease. So we're gonna hold Gino back until the top of next hour to build our numbers, and that'll be good. I think you'll like the interview. We'll play some of the press conference. We'll welcome Gino. We'll preview the national championship game tonight. The Masters this week. It's a good week. We're off on Wednesday, Bobby says, for Aviators baseball preemption, which means I got a day off on Wednesday. I might take off Friday because I got to get to visit my son in college before he graduates. He graduates, holy crap, he graduates in 5 weeks from ASU. 5 weeks. So got to go see him. Went and saw Yachtly Crew. So it was a yacht rock band the other night. A lot of fun. A lot of people dressed up in their Yachtly Crew outfits. They played all your favorites. Really fun time. I did go out in Vegas. It was at the Palms, and the ticket prices were nothing. It was like $35 for a fun show. It was a gimmick fun show, Yachtly Crew. God, man, just to buy a round of cocktails. I bought 8 vodka sodas. I went to the bar, and we had 8 people with us. And I said, look, I'm just going to buy 8 vodka sodas. How much do you think that cost me? Ballpark. Put it in the chart.
75. No, 120.
135. $135 for a round. That's a big round, though.
All right, here we go.
Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Philly Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes it off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Open to the 35, racing to the 20, 10. Touchdown Raiders!
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, as we open up Monday, April 7th, 2025, on the flagship of the Silver and Black Raider Nation Radio. We are streaming live on YouTube. We already got people there 5 minutes early, and they get the show rundown first. They get opportunities for prizes and some good stuff. JT the Brick YT is where we stream on YouTube, and today's a big day. Today's one of my favorite days of the year because I believe for 28 years in a row, or close to it, I forget the COVID year, it's a blur, but I've been on for the national championship game Monday night. I'm always on Monday night. I've never taken off the national championship. Even when I've gone to the national championship on a Monday night, I've done the show at some level. So that streak continues. I'll be on tonight on Sirius XM during the game, and right when it wraps up, we'll have a national champion. It'll be Florida versus Houston, and I have a chance to win a really significant bracket contest, not mine, the one we have here, but I'm in a big one that I'm in every year, and I'm in first. If Florida wins, that would be nice. But the most important thing today is Bobby's birthday. Happy birthday to Bobby. Bobby's been with me forever. The longest tenured part of this show is Bobby. So his birthday is today, which is nice because I thought maybe you'd take off on your birthday. Why not take off on your birthday? But you are here, which I appreciate. And Bobby came in early today along with I because I already interviewed Geno Smith. And I want to thank the Raiders for that. They got it, Geno to us first. We had Geno first right after the press conference. He gave us about 10 or 11 minutes. You'll hear that at the top of next hour. So in radio, we tease ahead. We have that interview. I thought it was really good. We welcomed Geno, asked him a lot of questions, and Geno in 1 hour. So Geno Smith had his introductory press conference. Really good to see a guy stand up there with that much confidence and knock it out of the park and really appreciate the opportunity that he has here in front of him. And that's the focus of the monologue. Brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town. Golden Entertainment owns 70 plus taverns in this town, along with the Strat, Arizona Charlie's, other venues here. So we thank them, and we always give them first shot every day as I open up the show. I think we should give Geno a proper welcome to the Raider Nation. I was telling Clay Baker today, because he was there, they covered the press conference, they played it live, so I got a chance to catch up with Clay, and I told Clay, we got a free day today. It's kind of nice in radio when you get a free day. I don't get many free days. So you come in here and you go, hey, what are we going to do today? Hours before, and we know what we're going to do, because there's always breaking news. There's something, I try to build topics and give you the monologues and give you more than just the Captain Obvious stuff. But today we get a free day. The Raiders have a franchise quarterback, face of the franchise on offense today. The signing went through. He signed. He's a Raider. He's your quarterback. I'm interested in your opinions on what you think of Geno Smith. Okay, because there's Geno past, there's Geno present. I think everybody's going to like Geno. He's a man of faith. He's got a lot of similarities to Derek Carr in regards to his faith, what he thinks about life, fate, and all that. I'm into fate. It's a big part of my life. When it comes down to all this, he's easy to root for. But most quarterbacks are. Most quarterbacks are easy to root for. Derek Carr was a good guy. Rich Gannon was a great guy. Jimmy Garoppolo was a great guy. And there are no flaws with Jimmy Garoppolo other than his play. Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, easy guys to root for. You want them to do well. But Geno is different. Geno has a unique story, and I am in the storytelling business. And Geno's story is very, very unique. He's been counted out. He was a high prospect, came into the league with high expectations. It didn't work out. What a surprise. He went to the Jets. It hasn't worked out since Joe Namath or Richard Todd, depending on how far you go back. Mark Sanchez. It just doesn't work out. You get drafted by a team that most people fail out. That would be the Jets, Cleveland over the years at quarterback. And then Geno went on a journey, and he went on a backup journey. And it was a long journey as a backup. And we got into that in our conversation about his faith and how he prepared when he knew he wasn't going to play. That is hard to do. If you've ever been second fiddle, if you've ever been a backup in life, and I think we all have been. I've been a backup in radio when I started. You be a starter, whatever it is. You go through things in life. It's how you handle the adversity that makes you great. And believe me, Geno's great. He's achieved greatness. When you're making an $80+ million contract extension short term, that is greatness. That is not 1% point. That's higher than 1%. The guy's set for life on this last contract. Okay, so his life is complete. Financially, he's been very successful. He's been a successful father and a partner and a teammate and all that. He's had a very unique journey, but it's been full of adversity, and it's how he's handled it. And now we get him after all that adversity where he seems to be in a really good place, physically and mentally. I mean, how nice is it to have a healthy quarterback, knock wood? I mean, we just hope he stays healthy, right? How nice is it to know that someone's going to play quarterback for the Raiders who's actually healthy, not coming off an injury, not banged up. Okay, let's hope that stays the case. Let's hope Geno stays healthy. And we know that the term, it gets thrown around a lot. I don't like it. There's an adult in the room. You hear that all the time. Well, now we have an adult in the room. No, these guys are all adults. They're all pretty good. They're all playing at the NFL level. But Geno's been a comeback player of the year, a Pro Bowler. He's coming off a career high for the Seahawks in yards, completion percentage. Everything that he's done at a very high level. The problem is that Raider fans want an elite quarterback. Elite. Geno is not elite. Geno's good. He's very good at times. There are games where he plays elite. He's had several games where he's thrown 3 or 4 touchdowns. He's played an elite game. But, overall, we don't consider him a top 5 quarterback and maybe a top 10 quarterback. But he's outside the top 10. And he's played seasons where he's in a kind of like the top 10, on the back end of the top 10. So now we have him here in Las Vegas, and we need him. We need him. I just got off that Raiders cruise where I was with a lot of Raider fans. And a lot of Raider fans, these were kind of like the elite Raider fans in a way. All Raider fans are great. You're not elite because you went on the cruise, but these were fans that spent a lot of money, wanted to go hang with the Raider Nation. These are fans that always wear their gear, love the team. And I spoke to them over 7 nights. And you can tell they're yearning for winning. Geno can win. Geno should not be able to hold the Raiders back. Geno should be able to help the Raiders get to the next phase of where they want to go quicker than some of the other quarterbacks that have donned the uniform here in Las Vegas since the move. So I want to be, I like to get behind people in life that are on my team. If you listen to me for 25 minutes or 25 years, I despise our foes because you taught me that in the Raider Nation. Okay, I came to the Raider Nation and was pulled in by the best of the best of the best of the Raider fans and the players and the alumni. I have a unique situation where I'm in right now. Before the show, I talked to Phil Villapiano. Fred Biletnikoff texted me before the show. That's a blessing for me to have the resources of the history of the organization, but now it's about the future. Okay, the past is always going to be there with the Raiders because they're an iconic brand. I talked about that with Geno in the interview coming up. But now it's about focusing on winning today and every day. And there's a head coach in Pete Carroll that lives his life that way, Competition Pete. He is a lunatic when it comes to competing. And all coaches are, because if you're going to be a coach and you're not going to have another job in life, you're going to dedicate your life to a sport, football, basketball, hockey, whatever it is, it's your life. Of course it's about competition. But there are different levels of competition, and now we have a guy who's widely considered at the Mount Rushmore of competition. He doesn't care about contracts, money, status, what house you live in, what you drive. All he cares about is competing every day and then evaluating off a competition. I believe that's what the organization needs now. They need fresh people who haven't been here to look at what this organization can do right in the building. They do a lot of right things in the building, and then find a way to win on the field. Every Raider fan should be pretty optimistic now. There's a lot of Raider fans who have not been optimistic over the last couple of years, and I know it because I'm on the front line. And some of them take it out on me, or they take it out on the coaches. They take it out on some players when they're not playing well. I don't recall a time recently where the Raider Nation should be this united. I mean, what's the knock? What's the knock now? You got a really good quarterback who's played at a high level recently considered a very good quarterback in this league. He checked the boxes of Tom Brady, John Spytek, Pete Carroll, and Chip Kelly. I think we would all admit that those 4 gentlemen involved know more than we do, right? They know more than me. And they're in charge of this organization going forward, reporting to Mark Davis. They believe that Geno Smith is the right guy at the right time. Is it perfect? No. Would Jaden Daniels be better? Possibly. You didn't get Jaden Daniels. Could Cam Ward be better? Probably. But you're not going to get Cam Ward. Shador, I don't know. But Geno Smith is ready right now to win. So everyone in the Raider Nation should be pretty worked up in a good way to get behind the guy. Now, it's easy to get behind a guy in April and in May. That's easy to do. And most Raider fans do that. But not recently. No, Raider fans have been really aggressively negative on some of the former head coaches, some of the quarterbacks, and some of the personnel. Why? Because you take a fan base that hasn't won for a while. They're an aggressive fan base to begin with. And then you give them cause for concern. You give them players that you know aren't elite. You give them players that you know aren't healthy via the draft or free agency, and you ask them to kind of get behind it. I don't have a problem doing that. I get paid to be a hype guy. I don't hide behind that. That's one of the things I do. I think you'd probably do it too if you had a radio show. You'd probably be hyped up. You'd probably be excited. You wouldn't be negative every day, and you'd want to win. So it's easy to hype up and get behind people when you're invested with them and you want to win. I'm invested with this team in more ways than one. I want them to win. I'm a season ticket holder. But I know what's good, bad, and ugly, and I've been there on the front lines trying to fight through this stuff. This is easy for everybody to say, yeah, I like this. It's not perfect, but it's better than what we had. We need to start winning. We got the best stadium in football, one of the best. We got a lot of great fans. We've been down, but we're not out. And now we got an opportunity to get better. Let's get behind this thing. Does that make sense? I think it does. And then we'll see what happens. Then we'll get into the season. And you know what will happen during the season. They'll either win or lose or be consistent or be average or be above average and great. And then we will address that every week with passion and energy, and we'll deal with that as it comes at us. But on a day like today, I think today is a day that we should celebrate. You got a guy in the building who deserves to be there. Everybody wants him in the building. He loves his new teammates. He loves the brand. And this is his moment. With all due respect to Seattle, he played well in Seattle. He won games in Seattle. He was a winner, but they didn't win the big one. So this is his last chance, most likely, to win a Super Bowl. And that would change his entire legacy. Geno Smith, Super Bowl champion, Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are back. The Raiders win the Super Bowl. Could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen year one, but in this Geno window of 3 years, you better believe this guy who blinks and wins 10 games might put us in a situation to win 11 or 12, get a home playoff game, as Kansas City might be declining, and we have a chance to beat Denver and the Chargers because we have Geno in these games, and then maybe the Raiders catch a season here in the next 3 years where everything just breaks right. That's what I hope, and I hope that happens. And let's all get on board for the ride. Let's all get on board for the ride. So today is Geno Smith Day. I have announced this throughout Las Vegas. Today is Geno Smith Day. And we're going to celebrate Geno Smith, and we're going to welcome him the way the fan base does. Also, if you call in, what are your expectations with Geno? What would you like to see? What are fair expectations for Geno? Yards, touchdowns, and wins. Yards, touchdowns, and wins. Let's get your opinion on that. We don't know the schedule yet. We know who we're playing. We don't know the dates. There's going to be a lot happening here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited today because I need days where I need to be excited. Today, I'm going to be on the radio during the national championship tonight. That fires me up. I interviewed Geno Smith already today. Today is a tremendous victory for me. Today, my day is going fabulous, and nothing's going to screw it up. It's going to be a good day. You know, it's going to be a good day today. It's not going to be a bad day or an average day. Oh boy, should I look at the stocks? No, I won't look at anything. No. It's Bobby's birthday, not today. Oh, no, I don't look. I'm a former stockbroker, so I know how this works. I got everybody on my Twitter timeline giving me advice. Been in the stock markets my whole life. I'm getting advice from Twitter trolls telling me hold or not. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Okay, doesn't mean it isn't bloody out there and there is red in the river, as they say. But today I choose to be a great day for a number of reasons. So we're going to take advantage of today. 702-365-9200. I'm live on YouTube. Please subscribe for free. I ask people to subscribe for free because we're building something cool, and it's really easy. And if all of my Twitter followers and Facebook followers subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would appreciate that because I have some good numbers here. We'd like to bring them over to YouTube at JT the Brick YT. It takes about 30 seconds to subscribe for free, and we would greatly appreciate that. So that's where we're at today. The monologue brought to you by Modelo, the fighting spirit of Modelo, the number one beer in America. Have a Modelo today for Bobby, or, Bobby likes rum. You could have two for that today. Bobby's going to watch Godzilla movies later today, which he's excited about, which is really exciting. I'd be excited, too, to watch Godzilla movies. And that's what Bobby's going to do on his birthday today. Golden Knights won last night. I saw a Yachtly Crew Saturday night, little yacht rock over at the Palms, which was fun. That was a fun night. I had a good weekend there, too. And this week's going to be a lot of fun. Bobby reminds me we're off Wednesday for Aviators baseball. So we are preempted for minor league baseball on Wednesday. And then I might head out here Friday to go visit my son in college because my son graduates college in 5 weeks. Wow. And I want to get out and see him one more time. So we'll see how this plays out. All of our guests are here. Earlier today, I put out my top 10 draft prospects, not the order of the top 10, who I believe are the top 10 players in the NFL draft on X at JT the Brick, if you take a look at that. And the Masters this week, a tradition unlike any other, which I really enjoy watching all that, the hype behind all that. The championship game tonight, I got Florida over Houston. Duke had one of the greatest chokes ever. Duke had one of the biggest chokes ever. 90 seconds to go, they were up 7 and lost. They didn't know how to get the ball in bounds. Their coach failed. John Shire, one of the biggest choke jobs I could recall. His team did not know how to inbounds the basketball. Okay, if you don't know how to take the ball out of bounds, you got Cooper Flagg, the best player in college in maybe a decade. All you got to do is get the ball inbound to Cooper Flagg and let him get fouled. And you win the game on the free throw line. They couldn't even get the ball in bounds and let Cooper Flagg run the end of the game. I mean, if you would have took me and put me on the sidelines with 90 seconds to go, I would have won that game blindfolded. I just would have said to all my guys, hey, see the guy, Cooper Flagg? Throw him the ball. Don't let anybody else touch it. Throw him the ball inbounds off a screen. He'll get fouled. He'll go to the free throw line, hit 2, 2, 2, 2, and we'll win the game. And they couldn't do it, and Duke collapsed, and Houston won. One of the biggest coaching collapses I've seen. Duke's coach was not ready. He did not prepare his team on how to break pressure. Kelvin Sampson did. Kelvin Sampson's one of the greats of all time. Full court press. Full court press. They couldn't get the ball in bounds. They crumbled. Duke, it's one of the greatest educations in the world. One of the greatest educations and schools in the history of college basketball, and they couldn't put the ball in bounds. They couldn't enter the ball in bounds with a bounce pass. They just crumbled. Crumbled because of pressure. Wow. Really? And I like Florida. I picked them to win. I think Florida's just unique. They throw 9 deep. Their guards are legitimately awesome. But I don't know. Houston might do this full court pressure thing, and Florida might not be able to handle it. So we have the national championship game tonight. If you got the winner on that or how you're going to bet it, let us know. And then UConn's women's basketball team absolutely dismantled South Carolina and humiliated them. Geno Smith now won 12. That's one of the greatest coaching accomplishments, male or female, of all time. He was incredible the way he won. His team was better prepared. They were clutch. They did the fundamentals beautifully. South Carolina got steamrolled and had no answers.
Joyce Edwards will throw it in, and that's it. Connecticut is back on top for the 12th time in school history. The first since 2016. The Connecticut Huskies are national champions. The 9-year wait is over for Geno Smith. Win number 1,250 in his career brings him national title number 12. Connecticut 82, South Carolina 59. The Huskies are the top dogs here in 2025.
That's Westwood 1 on the call. No phone calls in 20 minutes, huh? Really? Okay. What do they do when I'm not on the radio? They play like gambling radio? What do they do? Do they think I'm like a mannequin? Do they think it's – no, they must think it's a podcast. I think they think the show isn't live. I think they think it's a podcast, and the show was done a while ago. So I just got to wake people up here and do what we got to do. 702-365-9200. It's Geno Smith day today. We're going to welcome Geno as the franchise quarterback of the Raiders. You got Max now, Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, Geno. Ooh, that's shaping up to be a pretty good team. We say goodbye to Jack Jones today, real quickly. Thank you for the reminder. Jack Jones was a really good Raider. He was an Antonio Pierce guy. Antonio Pierce coached him in high school. he came to the Raiders and was a very good Raider. I don't need to hear about when he got burned on the double move. I'm aware of that. I tend to celebrate Jack, the pick six against Kansas City. I sat with Jack at the Raiders Gala last year. I got to the table, my wife and I, black tie event, and Jack sitting with us, and we sat with him all night. That's how I judge people. I judge people not on how many interceptions they get. I judge them on how they are as human beings and how they are to me. Jack was a great guy. He still is. I wish him nothing but the best. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Jack Jones came in here with some swagger. He made plays. He loved being a Raider, and we will wish him well. We will wish him well because that's what we do. You know, I got people there saying, well, what about this? No. Learn to wish people well. Jack Jones was a Raider. He played well. He had a lot of good plays behind the line of scrimmage, flash plays, as I tweeted out, where he played and was the best guy on the field in a couple of the games he played. That's important. He's going to go start somewhere else. I think that Pete Carroll's looking for a different, bigger, stronger type of corner. Pete Carroll is known for building a defense as a coach from the back to the defensive line. I think Pete's got a pretty good defensive line already. Christian Wilkins, Malcolm Koonce, Adam Butler, Max Crosby. Do the Raiders have a hole in the secondary or cornerbacks? Yeah, they do. Absolutely they do. They got to figure that out. Will this mean that the Raiders have to move up in the draft? I don't think so. Will the Raiders maybe take a corner with their first pick? I don't have them doing it, but if they do, that could work. This is a team that's going to need a corner. I would suggest getting a corner who gets cut from another team at the end of camp for salary purposes or whatever it is, and bring in a veteran who has played like Jack Jones. Bring in a veteran, a player that can come in and do some good things. We'll see how that plays out. Shields up in Connecticut. Start us off as we welcome Geno Smith. Go ahead.
Thank you for taking my call, JT. Real good feeling about Geno. I think this is the best quarterback we've had in the organization since Derek Carr. Feel really positive about him. Good character guy, hard worker.
What's your name?
And I think it'll be very productive. How far we're going to go?
I got two ahead of you. Hold on. Raider Nation, what's your
Got a
name?
real good feeling about Geno.
Hey, Raider Nation, what's your name, man?
Welcome to Raider Nation. As far as the quarterback,
One ahead of you.
deep in the draft, there's like four or five of them in the first round. There's not too many right now for you, but you're right. We'll make them get cut. The high quality guy with Valley Cup, we'll pick them up. But yeah, that's my take, man. Shoot up Geno Smith and let's get some votes.
Yeah, I would hope so. I think Geno's going to give the Raiders games where he's going to win, where he's going to make a big play late. And Geno's going to be in a lot of games where he doesn't lose the game for the Raiders. The Raiders are in the game. And maybe a Max strip sack, a Daniel Carlson walk-off field goal, A.J. Cole pinning him down within the 5, something happening, field flip, and the Raiders will win a game. You got Pete Carroll and Geno Smith going up against Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And especially you look at what they have in Denver now with Sean Payton. I think that situation Pete Carroll can win with Geno Smith going up against Drew Lock and all that. I think we can win. Jamal is in San Ramon, California. He joins us next. What's happening?
Hi, Mike. I'm a great fan. Great morning. I love the way you started it off. Today, and exciting news and being positive, and I think that Gino will really help. And also replacing Jack Jones. I was listening to the morning tailgate and I read some of the stats. The yards after catch allowed by Jack Jones. And then just the overall completions and the missed tackles, something keeps some intensity and bringing that competition. And he's downplaying his competition against the two coaches there in our division that he went against before. So I know the fire's burning inside of him. So hopefully I'm correct. I've been, hearing this in the past. But hopefully this year it seems a little bit different with all the changes in the organization.
Yes, thank you. I think there's a lot of positive change within the organization. Every Raider fan can see that. The Black Hole is home to football's most notorious fans, over 40 chapters worldwide and growing. If you're a diehard Raider fan, this is your home. New members will receive 20% off of everything on the website. hotel discounts for away games, members-only merchandise, and be the first to know about upcoming events. All memberships now are lifetime memberships. Once a member, always a member. Go to theblackhole.com. Go to theblackhole.com and become a member like I am. All right, we're off to the races on a Monday. Geno Smith had his press conference. I'm going to get to some of his press conference sound in the top of the hour. My conversation with Geno Smith. We were the first to get him. We're excited about that. What Geno has to say about this unique opportunity in his life right here on the flagship of the Silver and Black on a Monday. This is Raider Nation Radio. All right. Yeah. Still got a little bit of a runny nose from the cruise. God, that cruise kicked the crap out of me for a week. Jesus, Fabian. Oh.
Hey, Mike, you lead off. Hang on. Juan, you're number 2. Be ready. Okay, pal? DVG, number 3. Hang on, okay?
Yes.
You might want to take DVG first.
Okay. In Oakland? Okay. Hammer the like button, please. Yes. These are days I thought we'd have 200-300 people in here, man. It's just the off season. The Love Boat Bug, yes. Thank you for Mr. Morte. Did I get that right? M-O-R. That looks like it has something on the E. Appreciate it. Thank you for being new to the bricklayers who join us here.
Local 872 is a proud member of Team Vegas. From 1937 to today, Local 872 has been moving Las Vegas forward. Our members built the Hoover Dam Extension Bridge, finished City Center, expanded our roads, and made Vegas the biggest stage in sports.
Baseball, the Dodgers at the White House today. All right, stock market's down 564 today. Yeah. Okay.
You know, Josh, if you're on the job, they call it workers' compensation. That makes it sound like they're easily compensated. See how I call it what it is. Workers' confusion. Workers confounded. Workers' complication. They have so many rules, filings, and time limits. Most workers are completely lost and finally give up. Yep. If you're hurt on the job, don't try to go it alone. And don't wait. Deadlines are strictly enforced. And call the Richard Harris Law Firm. 444-4444. Running a business gets more complicated every year.
I'm not looking at my investments. I'm not looking at my portfolio. I'm looking at the market, where the market's at.
He's been helping Nevada's self-insured businesses for over 20 years. Whether your business is retail, trucking, building, agriculture.
You know, like I could,
The team has the expertise to make sure your coverage meets your
I can
needs
look.
and at a price that fits your budget. Our award-winning team keeps track of all the important regulatory issues that impact your business. We help it save.
All right, everybody seems to be excited. I am still taking some zinc, Fabian. Gonna try to have a clean week. A little black coffee, some water. You know, just kind of clean week. You can come out with this Geno sound, Bobby. You could just go with the first one, and then I'll just throw to the other ones. Yeah.
Check it out. These products and services save energy and money. There are discounts and rebates on energy-efficient devices and free smart thermostats.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sitting here saying that I was a fan of Geno his entire career, because he was a backup most of his career, but I was impressed with what he did in Seattle and the amount of games he won. That impressed me. But Seattle had such a winning culture. Like when Seattle took the field against anybody, it could have been the Niners, Arizona, the Rams, right? The Rams were a really good team. Eagles, whatever it is. You knew Seattle had a chance to win because of their culture, their coaching, the quality of their aggressive defense. A nice team. And Geno led the team to a lot of wins.
official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste. Brewed with fine
I don't think that
spirits.
Shador's a diva, Big D. I don't. I think he's probably a good kid.
Chris Scott.
By Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka. Visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Yeah, I mean, initially, when I thought this was a possibility, just Coach Carroll alone, drew interest here. And, getting to know all the inner workings, getting to meet John, getting to talk to Tom Brady, and just, really just understand what this thing's about and the direction they're going. I saw myself aligning with that. And, I think today is the start of that.
Yeah, that is Geno Smith at his introductory press conference earlier today. So we got a lot of sound from that. Maybe we'll play a portion of it. But I got Geno at the top of the hour exclusively here, his first interview on our flagship station. Excited about that. So stick around for that. Alex Ovechkin, I'll get to that, breaking Gretzky's record, which was a monumental goal on Long Island, where I'm from. He did it on the road, and that was pretty impressive. Golden Knights playing well, and we have the national championship game tonight and the Masters this week. I recommend going to the Westgate. Jeff Sherman will join us tomorrow with the moving odds as we get into that. But mostly today, we're going to get your optimism about Geno Smith. And look, if you're not a big Geno guy, I get it. If you want to see Geno prove it, well, we got to wait till September for that to happen. And I got to do radio shows in April, May, June, July, and August. That's 5 months. This is a long off season when you don't make the playoffs. Long off season. And today is a nice day to be on the radio. Stevie G is out in Oakland, California. Hello, Stevie.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks.
Hey, man, this is it's a great day. Raiders have a quarterback. They're moving forward. I love Geno's story,
Mm-hmm.
and what I think is going to, who's going to really be impacted by this as well is going to be Aiden O'Connell. He's going to have a veteran who's played and has actually gone through a number of these stages of quarterbacking. And he's going to be able to benefit from that. He really hasn't had that since, the quarterback who was hurt, who we brought in. And he just got hurt so early.
Jimmy G.
Who played for the Patriots.
Yeah, Jimmy G.
Jimmy G was actually a good wisdom presence for him as he took over for the remainder of that year. But now Aiden will have that. But for Geno, great. I'm glad for the G-Man coming in and he's going to be doing his thing. And actually, I see similarities to the Rich Gannon story. I see it. A guy who, it took a little bit of time. He got his shot as an older player, and then he took off with it once he had a coach that believed him. And obviously, that's Pete Carroll who really believes him. And here he is with Oakland, and it's time to move forward. I like what they're doing as an organization, putting things around him, and it's going to be good. And he's mobile, so he's not going to be just stuck there in the pocket. Again, he hasn't had, because he's been a backup at times, he doesn't have all the wear and tear of maybe a 34, 35-year-old guy, just like Gannon did when he came when he was with the Raiders. So I think that he's going to be able to be mobile back there, and when we're stuck, 3rd and 4, if he doesn't see a pass play, he might just run for first down. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And then his presence, again, as a veteran, to influence as a leader for the organization and to set that example on the offensive side of the ball to say what we're going to do. I'm looking forward to the draft. I'm just going to trust what they're doing. I don't care who they pick because I'm trusting what the organization is doing with Spytech and Carroll, and let's see what they come up with and see how they put the pieces in place. Now, I'm going to switch sports. Last thing I'm going to say, I thought the Final Four was fantastic this year. And I'm looking forward to tonight's game. I would love to see Kelvin Sampson do it. It's been a long time for him. He's the oldest coach. Would love to see him get it, just get a chip before he sails to sunset. It's just been good to show what stick-to-itiveness and consistency brings. They played that game from the beginning whistle to the end of the whistle, and now they're in the championship game. Hey, you take care.
Thank you. Excellent phone call. Please call us again. Excellent. Well thought out on where he stands as a Raider fan. He's going to trust the process. And that's been hard to do lately with some of the coaching decisions, other issues. It's been hard to trust the process. But it's easy to trust Pete Carroll because you've seen him be super successful in this league and also college at USC. It should be very easy to trust Pete Carroll coming in and him getting this right. And with the players that they're keeping, look, you got to keep a football team. You can't get rid of everybody. They're sending a message on the players that they're keeping and those who they're letting go. Okay, Nate Hobbs, gone. Divine Diablo, gone. Jack Jones, gone. They're looking for a more consistent player to play on the defensive side of the ball. And then offensively, the offensive line, a lot of Raider fans are split on the offensive line. I mean, we don't have Upshaw Shell. We don't. Okay, but if you look at the players on this offensive line, they're not bad. They're average to above average. Colt Miller is way above average. Jackson Bowers-Johnson can be way above average. But you wonder, because the rest of the players on offense are pretty good. I mean, Jacoby Myers is really good. Brock Bowers is elite. Trey Tucker is one of the fastest players in the league. He's a good player. He doesn't get a lot of looks. Michael Mayer, I don't know if they're going to trade him or not. A lot of people think he's on the trade block. Let's assume he is. If the Raiders are able to get something for him or not, or bring him back, I'm a fan of Big Mike. And then I think they're going to take Ashton Genty as of today, but I'm going to evolve on that over the next 2.5, 3 weeks, that there could be something else. But I know they're going to get, I think they're going to get a running back in the first 2 rounds who's a starter. So they're going to have a really good running back who's young, who hits the hole fast and was elite in college. You got to play college before you play pro. And then I hope that they're aggressive in the draft and they get a couple more starters. I had a conversation with a Raider fan after I was done singing karaoke. You're welcome. And they said, how many starters do you think we need in the draft? I said, well, I'd like 4 starters. And what do you mean by that? Well, starting running back, a starting offensive lineman, starting wide receiver, starting corner, maybe a starting linebacker. I'm giving 5 positions. So there are some holes left, but the holes are starting to dry up. There are holes, and I don't think the quarterback position was a hole. Aiden O'Connell's okay. Aiden's okay. But Geno now is the starter for the team. And as much as Aiden's going to compete, Geno's going to have to compete. Because Aiden's going to want to be the starter. He's going to act like it, even though it's Geno's job. Aiden's going to be treating it like it's his job to go get. He's going to be playing his butt off. Mike in Philly on the Raiders mobile app. Hello, Mike.
JT, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
I just want to give a nice shout out to Geno Smith being out there. I really, I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm up from the other coast.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I just want to, as a football theorist, I just want to congratulate you guys on getting a good quarterback. I really think it's going to get a nice streak going when it comes to beating down those Chiefs from Kansas City. It's going to set up you guys well for the future in terms of the next couple of years. Yeah, I think you guys are going to win a Super Bowl next year, no. But I really think it's going to set a precedence when it comes to having some good locker room foundation there, some good, what's the word for it?
Chemistry?
Yeah, chemistry. Yeah, some good chemistry, continuity there. And I really give a nice shout out to you guys for trying to turn the run out there in Vegas. It's really cool stuff. I know it's from someone that, here on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I just went to the boat. But I really hope you guys can, make some headway in the AFC West and get things going out there. And by the way, I'm so glad that Duke lost the other night. I'm not a Dookie. I'm not a Chapel Hill lad. I grew up in the city where we didn't have anybody in the tournament. We didn't have Villanova. We didn't have Temple. Nobody showed up. But I was glad to see Duke lose the other night. It was very cool. And I hope that, I think Sarah's going to take it tonight.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. A lot of people want Duke to lose. Duke, no doubt, is a team that people root against. They root against my Yankees. They root against the Raiders, right? There's teams that certain fan bases are polarizing and teams are. And I thought that Duke would have beaten Houston, and I think they should have beat them comfortably. They had the game wrapped up. That game was over. That game was about as over as it could be. And whenever there's a great comeback, I've been saying this my whole career, whenever there's a great comeback, there's an equal or greater collapse. Let me repeat that again. In the history of sports, whenever you see a historic comeback, The collapse is either equal or greater. This was greater. As much as Kelvin Sampson and Houston put themselves in a position to win the game, they shouldn't have won. I don't care how good their pressure was and their inbounds pressure. Duke should have been able to get the ball in bounds. They had better players. Duke had a better team. Duke had better players than Houston. Houston played harder and more aggressive in the last 90 seconds to steal the game. Coaching should stop that. Coaching should be able to prevent that. Juan in Riverside, California. Thank you, Juan. Go ahead. You too.
Congratulations to Gino and the organization. I think we definitely are settled on the QB position for at the very least 2 years. With that being said, I'm also just curious to know your thoughts, your perspective. Obviously, we're not paying attention to the draft boards. We're paying attention to the movement. A lot of people say Shador's falling. I agree with you. I think Genty is going to be the pick and maybe should be the pick just based off of need. Obviously they got the best player available last year and, top 5 prospect in draft. But my question for you is if Shador is a pick,
no.
What's your mindset?
No. Yeah, it's a luxury. It's a luxury pick for a quarterback that then you have Geno Smith, and if he throws 2 picks in a game, everybody at Allegiant Stadium's yelling for Shador. And I don't like that. I don't want that to be the surrounding story of this team this year. If you get a quarterback and if Jalen Milroe's available to learn under Geno and you get Jalen Milroe, who's elite in regards to being an athlete, somewhere later, I could see that to park him, but Shador can't be parked. You can't park Shador. He's got to play. So it could happen, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'll give you I feel much more comfortable with Milroe in the 3rd round or something like that, but I do think Genty fills probably what is the biggest hole on our roster next to maybe quarterback now and maybe linebacker. So I do think Genty solidifies that offense extremely well. Take, like you said last time, take Tucker gets over the top and deep because we have that play action available.
Right.
Agree with you. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Happy Monday. Appreciate you. Great calls today. We appreciate everybody who chimed in right out of the gate. My exclusive interview with Geno Smith at the top of the hour. You don't want to miss that. Geno Smith joined me about an hour ago. We'll play that at the top of the hour. Excited to get the interview with him. And if the Raiders decide to go corner, they've had a train wreck of cornerback picks in this organization. A train wreck with several trains combusting with that selection. If Pete Carroll's, he will be in the room for the pick. So I feel better if the Raiders pick a cornerback with Pete Carroll in the room because Pete knows corners and how to develop cornerbacks. It's part of his expertise. But, wow. I mean, you throw another cornerback early for the Raiders, got to go back a long way until Charles Woodson or even Namdi. There's been a just group of players taken early. Fabian Washington, Kerryon Conley. Oh, my God. All the players, DJ Hayden, rest in peace. When you look at some of the players who were taken over the decades high in the defensive backfield who didn't even get to a first contract and totally blew up the drafts that year, it's hard to go corner around here. It is. It's a new day. John Spytek is a different guy along with Pete Carroll. Maybe they get it right. But it is a risky pick to go corner early. It's so risky because corners in college are not corners in the pro for a while. It takes a rare player to come to the NFL as a rookie and be able to start and play corner. If you're going to take a corner at number 6, you better start. All right, we'll have Geno Smith at the top of the hour. Alert your friends in the Raider Nation. You want to get through, it's a good day to welcome Geno at 702-365-9200. Brought to you by Resorts World. What a property right here in Vegas. All right, we'll stick around. We'll hold this thing till about 1:15 Pacific, 4:15 Eastern. So you can hear that Geno Smith interview on YouTube.
And it's going right down the list, right?
What's that? Yeah, let's come out with the next one. The next one is Chip Kelly.
The next one is unfinished business with Pete Carroll.
Okay. So 4:11?
Yep.
Okay.
So I got about 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, the Masters isn't the same without Tiger. Also, it's raining, man. I just hate when it rains, man, at Augusta. That sport is just so tied into the weather, man. And the weather in that area is so inconsistent, man. When was the last time you watched the Masters where it wasn't cold, really cold, or windy or wet one of the days?
There's usually at least one day.
Yeah, there's always a day where it's a washout. Always one day.
They get it together by Saturday, Sunday, but it's usually Thursday, Friday. There's at least one.
Hey, can you email me that interview?
Oh yeah,
you get a chance.
Geno Smith.
Yeah.
No problem.
On sale now at Ticketmaster.com or any assorted player services. In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together.
My brother-in-law had a big surgery today, and he came out of it good. So very, very, very happy for that. Whenever you have a family member having a surgery and you're waiting on a text, and I got a good one.
Apply fertilizers, pesticides sparingly. Avoid sprinkler runoff. Don't litter. Secure trash in bins. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom. And remember, only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting lovendvwaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, during cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this state.
Yeah, I spent 2 full days with Sebastian Bach, the former rock star. He turned out to be a good guy.
And your home for the pre- and post-game parties is the Tailgater Tavern. Less than a half mile from the stadium, the Tailgater features 24 beers on tap and killer happy hour specials and gaming promotions.
Yes.
Shareable bar bites to breakfast, flatbread pizzas, and monster-sized burgers. This is your sports viewing headquarters. The Tailgater Tavern at Russell and Valley View, your gateway to the stadium.
Fixed phone audio. I don't know what to tell you about the phone audio. I'm working off one deal here. So phone audio is not going to be great. People aren't tuning in to hear the phones anyway. So this is JT Raw. This isn't perfection. This isn't a podcast studio with a bunch of people. We got a little bit of a light. We got some lighting. We got some microphones. Yeti microphone. So we got a lot of other professional stuff we do. This is just a simulcast. Yeah, so Gino, when we got him, he was great. So I did about 10 minutes with him. The last question I asked him about being the quarterback of the Raiders, what it means to him. I think you'll love that.
Cristo Bay St. Viator College Preparatory High School is a private Catholic money community educating young people of limited economic means. We are now hiring for the 2025-2026 school year. Applications for AP Spanish, AP English, and math teachers, as well as college counselor, alumni counselor, and driver for our corporate work study program are available on our website at crystalraysaintviator.org or call 702-844-2019.
Okay, no calls.
Welcome back
Okay.
to the JT the Brick
About
Show,
5 minutes.
brought to you by the De Castro Verde Lager. Call 702-222-9999.
Yes, sir. That's a great way to put it. I think there is unfinished business, and I think, when people think about my story, Coach Carroll's a big part of that. He gave me an opportunity when not many people would have, and he saw, the hard work that I was putting in. He saw the things behind the scenes that I do that allowed me to get this opportunity. But to be able to play for him, and again to be a part of this organization, it means everything to myself and my family. I was just telling him, man, I run through a wall for him, and he knows that. And I do the same for my teammates and for this organization. And so I just want that to be, kind of who I am, and I want that to be the statement of who I am as a quarterback of this team.
Yeah, Gino won the press conference today. It was really good. Talking to my wife about it. She watches everything on Raiders YouTube. She said, wow, he's pretty fired up. Yeah, you're supposed to win the press conference. It's a first impression. You got to go in there and knock it out of the park. My interview with Geno Smith coming up in 10 minutes. Stick around for that. My exclusive with Gino in 10 minutes. We are brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Had a couple of Tito's over the weekend. Fabulous as always. Tito's is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka makes the good stuff for good times. Make Tito's your go-to vodka. It's Tito'sVodka.com, distilled and bottled by Fifth Generation Inc. Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly. It's Bobby's birthday today, which is exciting. Always good to have another trip around the sun. And Bobby is going to celebrate today. Golden Knights ended up winning. I was watching that game last night. For whatever reason, I got YouTube TV.
Yeah.
So I switched over to YouTube TV. And they're not on YouTube TV much. So I got last night, it was on ESPN. I was able to watch, and I like YouTube TV. It's been a lot better than DirecTV, but not all of my sports are aligned directly and correctly. And I do have the MLB app for baseball. So I have that, but you got to stream it and do that. And I just cannot believe how many baseball games in Vegas are blacked out. It's despicable. How many Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Padres, Giants, all this garbage. Who A's? No, for whatever reason, the West Sacramento A's are always on my TV. But, you know, I'm a Yankee fan, and I'm able to find my Yankees on my MLB app. But it's harder to watch sports. Tonight, we'll watch the national championship game. That game is, I cannot believe how late this game tips off. Man, I don't know how you do it back east. I'm an East Coast guy who lives out west. I mean, I cannot believe how late they tip off this game tonight back east. And all the pomp and circumstance and everything that goes on the pregame show and all of that. It's just hard to watch sports when you're watching that late back east. But tonight's game is going to be very interesting because if Florida wins, no one expected this Florida team to win before the season started. Before the season started, nobody had Florida preseason poll going to win this thing. A lot of people had Houston. And it's interesting, if you go to a Final Four, and I've been to a number of them, we're going to have a Final Four 2 years from now in Vegas. How cool is that going to be? Imagine this, 2 years from now, it's Monday, we got the national championship in Vegas.
Yeah.
But when you lose the national championship game and Duke lost, all of those Duke fans, all of them, excuse me, are looking to sell their tickets when they walk out of San Antonio. Who do you think bought them all? Houston, Texas. Now the Houston fans who didn't go on Saturday are all in their cars, 2 hours to drive from Houston to San Antonio. They're buying all the Duke tickets as the Dookie fans are flushing the market and getting out of town, getting on a flight to go home. So that's interesting that Houston's going to have a pretty big home court advantage tonight. And they're going to. Florida fans will travel, but not like Houston. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen there. And then the Dodgers met the president today at the White House, Ohtani and all that. Ovechkin, he got his 895th, the record-breaking goal. So that was fabulous to watch, too. Do we have that? Yeah, this was the moment Ovechkin broke Gretzky's record.
Trying to force it till he's open. Here's Ovechkin.
Caps Radio. I've never seen Ovechkin without a cocktail or beverage in his hand. This guy's unbelievable. I mean, there is a beer in his hand like seconds after he gets off the ice. And he flew back to D.C. It was a day game on Long Island, and then he flew back, and they had a massive party for them there. Gretzky was there for all of it. And they pretty much have the same record and the same amount of games, which is really bizarre to see how that, one more game difference and all that. Remember, Gretzky's the greatest of all time. He was not a goal scorer. He was an assist guy who scored goals. Ovechkin was a pure goal scorer. So Ovechkin will never be better than Gretzky, but he has the record, which is important. LeBron has the record all time. Is he better than Jordan? He's lapping him when it comes to points. Points mean a lot. That's how they keep records, man. Home runs, points, goals, and all that. Ovechkin, now the GOAT status of him when it comes to all-time goals. My exclusive interview with Geno Smith is next. Please stick around for that on Raider Nation Radio.
Go right to it.
No, I'll reset and then I'll throw to it. Yep. Is it a throw or are you just going to take it?
Just as it was.
Yep. Cleaned up the
show. Geno Smith. They
Yep.
added that thing at the end.
Yep.
All right, look good. Back in a minute.
Okay. What's up, chat? What's going on, man? A's playing in my city of Sacramento. Yep, we are not the A's flagship station, so you're not going to hear much A's here. See behind me? See this? It's the Raider flagship, not the A's. Yep, Robert, I think the Raiders need to build up the trenches. Jordan Meredith is a big guy. Dylan Parham, DJ Glaze, Jackson Powers Johnson. Just a question of who's going to start and who's going to be on reserve. Raiders. What happens when you get scammed? If you block your scam calls, look at this. Little 7860 scam call. Watch this. I like to do this for my kids. Watch this. Hello. 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 The scam dropped me. Usually I rip them off. I rip their heads off when they pick up. Maybe they'll call back.
JT from the Black Hole, home of football's most notorious fans. If you're a diehard Raider fan, this is your home. Become a member today and receive 20% off online purchases, hotel discounts for home and away.
Renew the car warranty. Yeah, I'll block that number. Good point. So you get that call, and then you hit block call, right down here. So you block the call. Let's see that. Yep, we'll block the call. So we blocked it. Yep.
Open a Clark County Credit Union high-yield bonus checking account and earn one of the highest rates available just for using your checking account. Plus, bonus checking offers peace of mind, unrivaled security, and smart savings. There are so many benefits to banking at CCCU. Isn't it about time you became a member? Open a bonus checking account today and start earning more interest. Because if somebody's making money off your checking account, shouldn't it be you? Privately insured by American Share Insurance.
So there I was, trying to impress my wife by fixing the kitchen sink clog myself. I thought, how hard could it be? I do own a
And we're a year and a half away
10
from this
minutes
thing.
later, water's spraying everywhere.
Stock market hasn't rebounded. And this trade war is a debacle. And inflation, everything's going to be in the shitter because of the tariffs. That's the case in a year and a half.
Where are you, Dan? Where are you located, Dan? Where are you located?
All right, so I'm going to play this Geno Smith interview. I'll probably pop out of the studio for a moment as you listen to it. No need to look at me while you're listening to Geno. What? Listen to that. Listen to that.
I know.
What's the fucking problem?
They're dying.
Well, I got to get new stuff then.
Okay.
We can't listen to this.
I understand that. I also don't have any more. I've got nothing. Literally nothing.
Well, then I'll replace it.
Okay.
Wow.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio. Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years. And now, here's JT the Brick.
All right, JT, back with you. This is hour number 2 on the flagship of the Silver and Black, Raider Nation Radio. Hope everybody's doing well today. My interview in a moment with Geno Smith. We got him before the show. The first interview was with us after his press conference earlier today. So now the Raiders have their quarterback of the future. And we are a show based on emotion. We want to get people's raw emotion today on how they feel about this signing. Not every day that a tradable quarterback comes over to the Raiders historically in 60-plus years. Today's the day. The contract was executed. Geno is now the quarterback. He joined me right before the show, my conversation with Geno Smith. It's a pleasure to welcome Geno Smith to Raider Nation Radio. Geno, I want to begin. Today seemed like a lot about fate for you and your family. How does it feel?
It feels great. It's really just an exciting time, just an exciting opportunity for myself and my family to become a part of this Raiders organization. And, all I can continue to think about is just the work that we got to put in. And that's really what I'm most excited about is to go out there and exhibit, all the things that we're talking about right now.
Geno, when the process started for you, did it feel like a recruiting trip? Did it feel like a little bit more comfortable because Pete Carroll was here in Las Vegas? How did it come about with you and your agent?
Yeah, I think it was, just a collection of things. I mean, one, just talking to Seattle and seeing the direction they were headed, and then, seeing what my options were and it's becoming one of them. And, I really thought it'd be a great opportunity. When I had the chance to make it happen and it actually happened, I was in my house and just so excited, man. I got up and I yelled. I was just ready for the work and ready for the opportunity. And, it's something that, again, man, I couldn't have envisioned it happening the way that it has. But to be back with Pete, to be a part of this organization, and for us to, be able to go out there and win together, I think that's something that's special.
Is it that much better because it ended well in Seattle and you had so many good relationships and everybody took the high road and now you get a new opportunity here?
Yeah, and I think it would have always been that. There's some really, really outstanding people in the Seattle Seahawks organization. And, I'm very, very grateful for my time there. It was a career-changing experience for myself, and I will always be grateful for that. I tell, John Snyder, and I tell those guys all the time, the opportunity was something that was always going to be greater than anything else because it gave me the chance to go out there and prove myself. And that's all you can really ask as a player, is the chance to go out there and prove your worth and to prove who you are.
Geno Smith is our guest. How much did faith play a role in this for you when it came to building patience, the years you weren't getting into games, but you were always preparing?
Yeah, that was a big part, just not only my faith in God, but my faith in myself and understanding that, as I always say, man, God makes no mistakes. And there was a lesson that I needed to learn, in that time where I wasn't able to go out there and compete, as a starter. And, I like to think those times made me better and made me a better player, and made me a better person, and I'm grateful for it.
I want to get back to early in your life and mentorship and who led you along the way, starting your path out to become a young football player.
Yeah, early on, it really started with my uncle and my dad, my uncle Antoine Sellers and my dad, Eugene Smith Jr. I'm actually the third. So they were my first coaches. And, my uncle saw right away. I mean, he told me I was like 9 years old. He's like, be a high draft pick, play in the league a long time. And from that point on, we just started working working towards that. And that's kind of been something that we've done just my entire life. Having the guidance of my parents, being raised by, praying grandmothers, and just having a strong support system. It allows me to go out there and just play free and not worry about the outside noise, knowing that I got people that love me at home.
It seems like your athletic ability came very early at a young age, but the work ethic, the ability to study, break down film, first to come, last to leave. Who helped you with that, and how much did you love that in the process?
Honestly, I think that's just a part of me loving the game. I truly love football, and my grandmother loved football. My whole family loves football. It's like the family business, and so studying football is not hard to me. It's something I do for fun. Even when I'm not playing, or when I stop playing, I'll continue to study the game because I truly love the game and I understand the chess match of it. And then, like I said, man, it takes a community. My mom always says it takes a village to raise a kid, and I was truly raised by a village in South Florida, and a lot of the things they instilled in me, I still carry to this day.
Gino, what can you share with us about competition, Pete, and the way Coach Carroll competes? A lot of fans are hearing this for the first time in Las Vegas. I covered your career, your entire career, and especially in Seattle. What can you tell the fans when Max Crosby leads the defense out at practice and you're leading the offense? What could this look like?
Oh, man, it's going to be practice is going to look like those old Raider games where we're just going to go at each other. And, iron sharpens iron, but we're going to be talking smack. I'm gonna be talking crap to Max. I expect him to be talking crap back to me, and we're gonna go out there and try and dominate the defense every single chance we get. And they should be thinking the same thing. And I think that's gonna make all of us better. You know, the more we go out there and compete with one another, I believe these guys are the best of the best. So it should only make me better, and vice versa. And that's the thing that we want to continue to build is that competition that will breed excellence and breed winning.
Geno Smith is our guest. Geno, what do you take as your passion for completion percentage, something that has vastly improved, and you're one of the best in the league coming off a season at 70.4%. How did that come about? How did you get so much better in that category over the years?
I think that's a misconception. I've always been accurate. 70% in high school, 70 plus in college. What rookie quarterback doesn't struggle, right? So when you think about people talking about my struggles, they're talking about my rookie year, right? And I think that the narrative carried over into my career, which is like I hadn't gotten that much better. I've got more consistent, and I said that as a rookie. I've had tons of good games as a rookie, and I went 8-8 my rookie season. Was the runner-up for rookie of the year. But the reality was that I wasn't consistent enough to be the player that I thought that I could be. And once I gained that consistency, that's when everything else changed.
You mentioned in the press conference meeting Chip Kelly for the first time in the recruitment phase to Oregon, and you just watched him at Ohio State. Your cousin's there. What do you like about his system? Because a lot of Raider fans have been through a lot of offensive coordinators recently and coaches. This looks like a stability move for an offense that you fit in perfectly with.
Yeah, the thing that I've noticed about Coach Kelly's system is that, for one, for myself, despite who's played quarterback, they've all been successful. He's had running quarterbacks, he's had pocket quarterbacks, he's had dual threat quarterbacks, and he's found success, and they've found success in his system. And so that leads me to believe that it's a really good system. And then and watching him at Ohio State, just the balance that they had, I was really impressed with the way that they managed losing two really good tackles, tackle and guard I think it was, and the next guy stepped up and their O-line was dominant in the playoffs. And so I think that speaks volumes to coaching. And I know Chip's, he's always, had a really good offensive line. He's always built a really good run game. And those are quarterbacks' best friends. So to be a part of that is going to be special.
We're wrapping it up with Raiders quarterback Geno Smith. Just a couple of more. The roster's being developed ahead of the draft, but two players, Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. What do you know about them? How do they look on tape, and how excited are you to get to work with them?
Yeah, I think Jacoby is he's a very, very underrated receiver in this league, and a guy who's been consistently a great pass catcher. He consistently gets open, and I think with he and I working together, I saw him a little bit earlier. Going to go see him again a little later. I think he's got boxing, and then we'll probably go get some lunch or something. But as we continue to build this thing together, man, it's about what we do collectively. It's never going to be about one person, never about one player or what I can gain, especially not me. I want all those other guys to, reach their full potential and see all their dreams come true. And that's the reason I'm here, is to help them.
We're all getting to know John Spidtek. What are your first impressions of him?
Yeah, so John's cool, man. He's he's a guy who's played the game. He's been around the league for a while. He understands it, and he's a real laid back guy. But you can tell he's about his business and he does things the right way. So really appreciative to be around him as well.
And Gino, it really looked like that time you had with Tom Brady made a big difference with Pete, Spidtek, Chip, everyone there. Max, you mentioned in the press conference. Big to know that when you need assistance or someone to talk to, or if he's in the building or over the phone, that Tom Brady's there.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, Tom Brady, right? I mean, that's the guy that you get to bounce ideas off of, and just talk process and talk. How do you watch film during the week, or if I need to figure out how to inspire a guy, hey Tom, what would you do, or how would you do it? Just to have him as a sounding board, and also just to be around him, man. I mean, he's just such a special player, one of the greatest players to play this game, and just to be around him and for him to be help leading this organization, I think is all great things.
Last one. This is a diehard fan base. This is the Raider Nation, the Black Hole. It is massive globally. You get an opportunity to lead this fan base and this organization, one of the most popular brands in North American sports for 60 years. How proud are you to be the quarterback of the Silver and Black?
Man, what an opportunity. I mean, what an opportunity. Like you said, historic through and through, man. This organization is historic. And, for me to have the opportunity to wear that logo, to wear that shield, and to be a part of the silver and black. And, we want to make the black hole. I mean, we want to make it, as rowdy as it's ever been. We want, the opposing teams, when they come into our arena, to our stadium, we want them to fear our fans and to know, like, hey, man, we got to listen up, in the huddle, because they're going to be super loud and they're going to make it hard for us. And we want to make sure that they're excited. And, when we step on the field, we're putting out the product that makes our fans proud. And that's a big reason why, I'm ready to get to work, is because I'm ready to, really get this product and get it where it needs to be, so that we can be the best team in the league. And our fans could have those bragging rights and talk trash to the other fans.
Congratulations, Geno. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. Geno Smith, new quarterback of the Silver and Black. Thrilled to get an opportunity to speak to him first after the press conference. And Raider Nation, there he is. You got a really good gentleman, a man of faith, a guy who waited and he was respectful during the whole wait, took advantage of his opportunity, and now look at him. He is honored for this position. I've interviewed all these quarterbacks over the decades here. Let's get behind Geno and see what he can do. This is a moment for the Raider Nation to bond behind someone who is at the right place at the right time with the right organization and the right head coach. So everybody should get behind this, do what you got to do. But Geno's a good guy. He's waited for this opportunity. You can tell he's ready for an opportunity of a lifetime. Our conversation with Geno Smith. When we come back, your reaction to the interview, 702-365-9200, brought to you by Modelo, the #1 beer in America, the fighting spirit of Geno Smith, the fighting spirit of Modelo, proud partner of our show on the flagship of the Silver and Black. This is Raider Nation Radio.
All right, that's a hell of a day. Hope you enjoyed the Geno interview. We got it first. I'm excited about that. Thank you for listening today. I'm on tonight for the national championship. Mad Dog Sports Radio, 7 to 10 Pacific. It's going to be a late night. Long day today, the next couple of days. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here for me.